Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That's the go-getter energy that moves all of us to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in a one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy. There is a hardcover book, and you are listening to the masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to master something in life. Yesterday, I told you why you want to master something. Now I'm following that up by telling you how exactly do you do it. If you didn't hear yesterday's masterclass on mastering something in life, you see how that works? Then I suggest you go back and listen to that one first. If you don't have the full access to the full content, that's because you are not enrolled in Work on Your Game University. Why the hell not? I'm giving you first 2 weeks free. So go to workonyourgameu.com, workonyourgameu.com. Make sure you get into the university so you get access to the full material of every masterclass that I've ever put out in the history of the show. Do you understand how much material that is? Do you see what number episode this is? We haven't skipped a number. I actually got extra numbers in here with special episodes that I've interrupted the flow. Listen. If you want the full education, you ain't got to go back to school. You ain't got to go back to college. You don't have to pay that tuition. It's exorbitant. I'm going to give you the best price you could possibly get for an amazing education, the best bang for your buck. The amount of education you're going to get per dollar invested, the best deal you're ever going to get is at Work on Your Game University. So if you do not have that, go to workonyourgameu.com while you're listening to me talk. Now, that's the end of the ad. Let's get to it. Today's topic again, how to master something in life. Yesterday I told you why. Now I'm going to tell you how. Point number one. First thing you gotta do is experiment. Get the hell out of the house, get your ass up off the couch, and go see what the hell is going on out in the world. Experiment. If you have no idea, so here's the thing. If you listen to yesterday's masterclass and you already know what the area is that you're interested in, where you're gonna focus and what you're going to master, then yesterday I was just selling you on why you need to get serious about it and actually start goddamn doing it. Since you already know what it is you wanna master, you just haven't done it yet. Why? Again, you have to answer that question. Now, for those of you who have no idea, maybe you heard yesterday's masterclass and it sounded good to you. You're like, yeah, I want to master something. That makes sense. Dre sold me on the concept, but you have no idea what you want to master. You don't even know where to begin with the mastery, though you aren't so lucky as to know where you want to focus. I get it. That was not me in my life, but I understand that not everyone is so lucky as to have the thing that they really want to do or the thing that they're going to end up doing with their life. It doesn't necessarily fall into your lap when you're a teenager, or it doesn't, does not, events in your life don't just line up for you to master that thing. So if you have no idea whatsoever, what you must do is experiment. Get out and explore. Find out what you like and find out what you don't like. And understand that you do not need nor do you want to master everything in life. As I talked about yesterday, it's impossible for you to master everything. As I talked about several master classes here, that you are probably not going to be the best, one of the best of the best at more than one thing, because it takes everything that you have to be the best of the best at one thing, and then you got to keep giving everything you got to remain the best of the best at that one thing. So you're not going to have the time or the space or the talent to master more than one thing at the exact same time, unless they happen to be very closely related, symbiotic. But two completely different things, no, that's not going to happen. So you don't need to or want to master everything, and there's a lot of stuff out there. There's plenty to choose from in the world. So what you got to do is go out and sample the menu. You got to see what's going on. All right, what do I think about this? So let me try this out here. Let me do this thing over here. Let me see if I like any of this. I'm not a parent, but any of you who are parents, you probably at some point put your children or child into multiple sports. Maybe you had them do some combat sports like karate or MMA or boxing. Then you had them do maybe some team sports like basketball and football and soccer and baseball, softball. Then maybe some individual stuff like golf or what's the other one? Swimming or track and field. And you had them try out all of these different sports, not because you wanted your child to be this multi-sport superstar. Maybe you did, but you probably had them try all those different things out because, well, one reason is that your child needs to be active, right? We don't want any childhood obesity out here. But also because if that child's going to play sports and be active, you want to let them at least sample a bunch of different sports to find out which one they like. You might think they want to be a soccer player, but they end up being a baseball player. You might think they're going to love basketball, but they end up loving boxing. But you let them try out a whole bunch of different things to see what they enjoy. I would like to think that school makes us take all of these different classes, all of these different topics that are not related to each other, many of which we're going to completely discard mentally and disregard and forget about as soon as school is over. I would like to think the reason they make us do that is not to give us busy work and keep us busy for 8 hours a day like a public daycare that's free. But I would like to think they do this because they want each of us as students to sample as much material as we can. So then, since we've been exposed to everything, then we can make an educated decision as we get older and we have a little bit more autonomy, decide what it is that we want to focus on. So you got to sample the menu of life, go out and see what is going on. If you are turned off at the experimentation phase of anything that you're doing, so once you're out there experimenting, seeing what's going on, and you're turned off and you're like, I'm not really excited about this anymore. Once you get to learn a little bit about it, once you start to see about it, once you start to read about it, start to watch some YouTube videos, you're like, yeah, this thing ain't really for me. When that happens, all right, that means it's time for you to abort the mission. All right, you're in the wrong place. Go experiment with something else. So experiment with something until you get to the point that you feel like you're no longer excited, you're bored by it, it's just not your thing, you know it's not your thing. That's when you move on. That's when you abort mission. Now, let me tell you what you do next. Now, if you have not aborted mission yet, so this is basically a 4-step process. So this is step number 1 is you experiment. So you experiment with something, and at any point, I got 4 points that I'm gonna give you here today. If at any one of these 4 points, you reach a time or a point where you're like, all right, this thing, I'm not really into it anymore, that's when you abort the mission, and then you go back to step 1 of experimentation and try something different. So let's just say you want to be a basketball player, right? You said, all right, I think I'm a master basketball. So you start off, by experimenting with basketball. But if during the experimentation phase of basketball, you decide that this is not the thing for you, now you go back to step 1 and you choose something different. You insert something different. You say, okay, now I'm gonna be a computer scientist. So now you start experimenting. If that gets boring, all right, abort mission, go back to the beginning and say, all right, now I'm gonna be an Instagram model. Then you try that and you see how that goes. If that doesn't work, then you abort mission, go back to the beginning. And you say, all right, now I'm gonna write for the newspaper, or I'm gonna write on the internet. Maybe not the newspaper, I'm gonna write on the internet and be a journalist. Now try that. So everybody follow that. Point number 2. Today's topic is how to master something in life. Second thing you do, as long as you got through the experimentation phase and it's looking good, start digging deeper. Find a topic that you are interested in and go deeper with that topic. Once you have found the topic, I'm not saying find the topic, once you've already found the topic, go deeper. Meaning, go read books about it, go take an online course, go and talk to someone or learn some things from someone. You can follow them on the internet, subscribe to them on social media, whatever it is, someone who is already doing that thing, someone who's already doing it, see what they're saying, see how they're talking about it, see how they're demonstrating how it goes. Get an internship if you can. Go work somewhere for free. Be someone's apprentice so you can learn at their feet of what is actually going on. Try actually doing it yourself. Give it a little bit of a test run. So you got to get your feet wet. Everybody's heard that phrase, get your feet wet. Well, you got to get like waist deep in the water. All right. So not just getting your feet wet. You got to get your calves wet, your knees wet, your hamstrings, get your ass wet. All right. You got to get half of your body got to get wet. Get a little bit deeper into the pool. So that's what I mean by digging deeper. So if you don't get more excited as you dig deeper, once you're waist length into the water of that pool, of that particular thing, and you're not getting more excited, you don't feel like diving all the way in and submerging yourself in the water, then it's time for you to abort mission. You are in the wrong place doing the wrong thing, and that's all right. This is what's going to happen in life. Sometimes you're going to get into the digging deeper level, you're going to realize, okay, this is a little bit more than I thought it was. You're going to abort mission, and then you're going to go back to doing the thing that you were doing before. You know, one thing that I like doing, I like the performing arts. I like TV, acting, modeling. That's something that I thought at younger times in my life, I thought maybe I'd be interested in doing that, maybe at a mastery level. But the problem was, once I started getting into it, especially anything that involved like TV, anything that involves videography and photography, like at the serious professional level where there's a whole crew and staff of people putting things together, I like the finished product. I like the idea of having some great photos and some great video of myself, especially when it's shot like professionally with 20 different cameras and you got all these assistants and all this stuff running around. I love the finished product, but I did not like the process. I hated the process because there's so much damn standing around that you have to do. I remember I was on this, I don't even remember what network this was. It was a TV show that I did. I don't remember what network it was, but the woman who had the show was the chick that was JWoww on Jersey Shore. She's, I guess, all grown up now, as they say. She had like this family show that was for young Americans or something. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I was hired out by this company that has a online investment app to be basically their representative. They gave me a bunch of lines of things that I needed to say when I came on the show with them, and I was only on the show for like, my time on camera was like literally like 3 minutes. I was on that set for the whole goddamn day. I was on the set from like 7 in the morning to like 12 in the afternoon. I was like, fuck this. I can't do this as a profession. All you're doing is just standing there all day. And you got to be there the whole time. You got to be sitting there on the set the whole time. Then they do the makeup, and then you just stand there watching everybody else go. And then they're doing like 5 or 6 or 10 takes of the exact same shot. I'm like, no, this shit is too fucking boring. I need to move around in my life. I can't do this. So that I realized that that's something that I didn't want to do. I'm saying all of that to let you know, once you start digging deeper and you start getting your feet wet and your legs wet in something, you may realize that you're in the wrong place doing the wrong thing. That's when you abort mission and you go do something else. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to master something in life. Companion to yesterday's masterclass of why to master something. Number 3, now you get into the details. Now you start digging deep. Now you're going to get into the real details and figuring out, what's in this water. You're gonna start sampling the water. So you got your feet wet, you got half of your body wet in the water. Now you're gonna really go deep into the water. You're gonna submerge yourself in that water, getting into details. Meaning, talk to someone who's on the inside, which you did in step number 2. But here, when you talk to someone who's on the inside, you want to talk to somebody who's not trying to sell you on it. All right, actually, you're going to talk to the exact opposite type of person. So there's the type of person who's going to try to sell you on doing the same thing that they're doing. So they're going to tell you all the good stuff about it, right? They're going to tell you why it's so great and why you're going to enjoy it and why it's going to be amazing and you're going to make all this money. It's going to be so fun. Now you need to talk to the exact opposite type of person. You need to talk to the type of person who is trying to scare you away. Talk to the person who's trying to scare you straight and let you know that you don't want to do this. Let you know all the reasons why it ain't as fun as it looks like from the outside looking in. That's the type of person you need to talk to next. Talk to an anti-salesperson who's trying to scare you off. Somebody's telling you why not to do it. Because you know what this person's going to do when they're trying to scare you off? They're going to give you all the deep, dark details that the sales brochures don't tell you about. You get a sales brochure about doing something, and they just tell you all the positive stuff, right? They tell you all the fun you're going to have, and you see all those smiling white people in the pictures, and then you got the dog, and everything looks all fun, right? Everything looks how great it's going to be. But then when you get on the inside, you realize, oh, damn, this shit ain't that fun. All right, this ain't like it was in the brochure. All right, this is not how it looked in the commercial. Y'all remember the movie Forrest Gump? I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Forrest Gump signed up for the Army. He was like, I don't know where he was, high school maybe, and he signed up for the armed forces. And of course, you got the military guy in his full uniform walks up to you, hey, young man, do you want to represent your country and become an army man, or whatever the guy said to Forrest Gump. And Forrest Gump was like, yeah, I'll do that. It sounded pretty good. It sounded honorable. Like, yeah, I could be like this guy with his fatigues on, and I could walk around the schools and sell other young men on representing the Army. That looks pretty easy. It looks pretty fun, right? I could be an Army man and I can march, and that looks all so fun. So Forrest Gump signs up for the Army, and then there was a scene where the Army bus pulls up to his house to take Forrest to basic training, and he gets on the bus, and there's a bunch of recruits sitting in the bus. He didn't see them yet, but as soon as he gets in, there's a guy driving the bus. He has on his full Army fatigues, and Forrest walks up to the guy all friendly. Because y'all don't see the movie Forrest Gump. Forrest was like this local hick white dude who was a really friendly guy. So he gets on the bus and he says to the driver, hello, I'm Forrest Gump. My name is Forrest Gump. And the driver of the bus, he just starts cussing Forrest Gump out. Like, what the hell are you talking to me for? Get your bum ass to the back of the bus. He's just cussing him out, spitting in his face like they have in the Army movies. I've never been in the armed forces, but any of you who is, maybe you can confirm or deny that this is actually how it goes. But in the movie is a perfect picture of what I'm trying to describe here, is that they will sell you on the great stuff and how fun it's going to be and how great you're going to feel from having done this thing, but you need to find out what it's really like. All right? Find out what it's really like on the inside before you fully commit to doing it, because you don't want to get to the inside then realize that you then signed up for something that you really don't want to be a part of. So when Forrest got on that bus, he realized, okay, it's not all rainbows and butterflies to be part of the Army. Then he starts walking through the bus, and all these other guys are just looking so solemn and not quite so happy. And it was actually because there was a war going on in the scene of the movie. They were fighting in the Vietnam War, so maybe that's why everyone didn't look so excited. It's not like they were just randomly signing up to be part of the army and there's no war. They all knew they were about to put their lives on the line. But again, you can watch the movie and you can learn more about Forrest Gump. That's not what today's topic is. So when you talk to somebody who's on the inside, they're going to give you the dark details that's not in the sales brochure. Now you got to ask yourself, same question again. Do I still want to do this? Am I still excited about this? Is this still the thing that I want to keep doing now that you know all the deep, dark details? If not, then you can abort mission. This is something that actually, another great example of what I'm talking about here. I did a whole masterclass back in masterclass number 1503, the business and personal growth benefits of network marketing / MLM. When you go to an MLM meeting, I'm sure many of you have been to one. When you go to the MLM meeting, they sell you on all the great stuff, right? They tell you how great this product is and how it's so simple and how it's going to do all these great things for people and why anybody would want the product. So they sell you on the concept of the product. Then they sell you on the business opportunity, right? They tell you about the business opportunity, how much money you can make and how great this is going to be. You're going to be doing it with your friends. And they tell you, look, it's so easy to sell, you don't even have to sell it. All you got to do is bring people to this meeting and we'll do the sales for you. All you got to do is sit back and collect the money. I mean, how easy is that, right? But then you get into it and you realize it's not as fun, it's not as easy as it sounded when you were sitting in that meeting the first day. And this is all part of the game, but this is part of sales. It's not a bad thing. Listen, every sales person, every industry that's selling something does this, okay? I'm just using MLM as an example because I just did a masterclass on this, and masterclass again 1503, which was already damn 60 some days ago, but you understand what I'm talking about here. So make sure you get the deep, dark details from somebody who's on the inside, who is not trying to sell you on it, someone who's trying to scare you away from it. Let them tell you all those details, and once you hear all that, if you're still in, now you go to step 4. Point number 4, today's topic once again, is how to master something. Point number 4, teach it. You want to be a master of something, you got to teach it. If you cannot teach it, you do not know it. If you are not in the front of the room giving the information, telling other people what it is, why it is, and how to implement it, if you are not that person, you have not mastered your topic yet. You may know it very well. You may be very good at it, maybe even recognized for your goodness at the thing that you're doing. But until you are teaching it, you do not know it. Now, how do you start teaching it? This is the question. How do you start teaching? Do you have to go book a speaking gig? Do you have to give a TED talk? Do you got to start a podcast and put out an episode every day? What do you have to do to start teaching something? The answer to the question is no, no, no. You don't have to do any of those things. All you have to do is answer every question that anyone could ever ask about the topic. That's it. That's all teaching is. So whether you want to do that via blogging, you want to do it via little short 60-second Instagram videos, whether you want to do it in a Facebook group, whether you want to do it in, you want to have live events locally, wherever you happen to live, whatever way you want to do it. You want to do it on YouTube, make little 5-minute YouTube videos, whatever way you want to do it. Podcasting, doesn't matter. All you have to do is consider every question anyone could possibly ask about that topic that you have mastered, and then you answer it. Not only answer it, but then explain the context behind the answer. That's all you got to do. If you notice, you've been listening to this master class for any amount of time, this show, that's all I do. I come up with a question and I answer it. Sometimes I put it in the form of a question, but sometimes I don't. And that MLM masterclass, what's the topic? The business and personal growth benefits of network marketing / MLM. There's no question in that title. However, all I'm doing is telling you, you just think of it this way. Dre, what are the personal growth and business benefits of network marketing? All I did was just phrase it I phrase it as a statement instead of as a question. But all I'm doing is answering questions. That's what I'm doing here. Why would anybody want to master something, Dre? I told you that yesterday. Well, all right, Dre, I'm sold on mastering something. Now, how do I do it? That's a question. Now I'm answering it today. All I'm doing is coming up with the question and then giving you the answer. This is teaching. And this is how you know you're at the mastery level, when you can teach what you know. If you can't teach it, you don't know it. Not as well as you think you do. All you got to do is answer every question. So think of what questions people could ask. Actually, you don't even have to think of what questions people ask. All you got to do is go see what questions people are asking. Go on Google, go on a website called Quora, where people are asking questions. All you got to do is answer them. It's Quora. That's a whole question and crowdsourced answers site. I haven't been on Quora in a while. Maybe I'll get back on there. But I've gotten questions from Quora and made masterclasses out of answering those questions. Go on YouTube and start publishing content. People are going to go in the comment section and ask questions. The reason I published so many videos to YouTube back in the basketball days, because I published a couple videos basketball that was just for me. I wasn't trying to get seen or do anything for anybody else. It was just for me to have that video, and people start coming in the comment section and asking questions. And all I did, it was just a natural inclination for me. Okay, let me just make another video and answer that question. How do you dribble? Okay, let me show you. How do you jump higher? Let me show you. Do you practice every day? Yes. Why? Let me show you. Where'd you come from? I answered that question. How'd you get good at basketball? I answered that question. You didn't make your high school team till you were a senior. How'd you stay so disciplined and confident? And how'd you fight through those setbacks? I answered that question. I'm still answering that question to this very day. So all I did was answer questions. I became a master at my subject matter by answering question after question after question, to the point that I started thinking of the questions before you even thought of them. I answered your question before you even think of asking it. That is my expertise. Now you can become an expert at what you do in your area, but all you had to start doing is answering the questions that anyone could possibly ask about that subject. Now, what makes this hard, that's the easy part, is that you're just answering every question. But let me tell you what makes this hard, because I got to tell you everything. You notice this? Well, I just told you on point number 3. I'm going to tell you everything. I'm not going to just sell you the sizzle and not tell you about eating the steak. You have to have more than observational knowledge to do this. All right, you cannot answer every question about a subject just because you read a whole bunch of books, or you watched some videos, or you know some people who did it. No, you had to actually have been out there doing it yourself, 10 toes deep, as we say. You had to have been in the trenches actually doing it. You can't become an expert at something and call yourself a master of something that you're talking about and you ain't never done it. You got to have actually been out there doing it. And people can see right through a person who hasn't done something yet they're talking about it. So make sure you're talking about something you've actually done. This step is only available to you after years of being in the game, doing it yourself. Did everybody hear what I just said? Let me say it again for the people who weren't listening. This step is only available to you after years of doing it yourself in the trenches, 10 toes deep. Everybody got that? You got to be in the game, playing the game, not watching the game, not coaching the game, not training people in the game, not hanging out with people who are in the game. You got to be in the game, playing in the game. After you've done that for years, you will have the knowledge to answer any question that anybody could possibly ask, and you'll even have thought of questions that need to be answered that people didn't even think of asking because they don't know what you know. They haven't been where you've been. They haven't seen what you've seen. That's when you're an expert. That's when you're a master. That is the only way that qualifies you to talk about things. I hope everybody heard point number 4. Don't skip that part. Let's recap today's class, which is, how do you master something? I told you why to master, now I'm telling you how. Number 1, experiment. Get out and explore. See what you like and what you are good at. You don't need nor want to master everything. There's a lot of stuff out there, so sample the menu of life. Number 2, dig deep. Find a topic you're interested in and go deeper with it. Read books, take a course, talk to someone who's already doing it. Get an internship, try it for yourself, give it a test run. Get your feet wet, get your legs wet, get halfway deep into the water. Now, point number 3, get into the details. Talk to someone on the inside who is not trying to sell you. Talk to someone who's trying to scare you away. Someone who's going to tell you all the dark stuff, all the bad stuff, all the stuff that's not so fun about it. Now, if you're still excited, then you keep going to point number 4, teach it. If you can't teach it, you do not know it. How do you do this? Answer every question anyone could ever ask. That seems easy. Let me tell you the hard part. You got to put years in before you qualify yourself to be able to do this. You got to be in the game, doing it yourself, 10 toes deep. That's the only way that qualifies you to talk about anything. At each one of these steps, at any point you feel like you're no longer excited about that topic, abort mission and go back to point number 1. It is only when you have gone all the way through and completed point number 4 and you're still in point number 4, like I am. I'm still in point number 4. That's when you know you've gotten to the mastery level. Work on your game. Dre all day.